ever since I very first started, I could tell that it was going to be a problem. My name is Eli. I'm an alumni here at Aspire. Well, actually, I had a brother who was going through alcoholism, and he found out about this program. And so he came here, and he was here for a few months, and that was kind of the beginning of his recovery journey. And when I was going through my struggle with addiction, just a couple years after that, I ended up dropping out of college and coming home trying to find some help. I was going to college in Northern California, and I was smoking too much weed. I was just losing my mind, struggling with mental health, struggling with depression. And so I dropped out of college and I came back home just knowing that I needed to get some help somewhere. And so I talked to my family and I talked to my older brother who had experience, and he told me that Aspire would be a great option for me to go and get some help. And so it was the start of this year. It was December 31st of 2024. I came to my first meeting here at Aspire, and at first it was outside of my comfort zone, but I found that this place had the help that I needed, and the more I put into it, the more I let myself get vulnerable, the more I liked coming back. And so I completed the program about 4 months ago or so, and I just kept coming back. I try to come to every single meeting I can, and I continue to meet all the newcomers here, and it's just become an integral part of my weekly routine. I feel like I wouldn't be in the place I am right now without Aspire. Ever since I very first started, I could tell that it was going to be a problem for me. I remember the first time that I got high when I was still in high school, and I got high in my friend's bedroom. I remember that feeling, and I was like, oh damn, this is too good. I know this is going to be a problem for me. And so I just witnessed it. It happened fast. It went from getting high once or twice a month to 6 months down the line, I was getting high at least a couple times a week. And then it didn't take even a year before I was doing it all day, every day. And so I could just see it in real time, the progressiveness of the disease. And so I was at college for 2.5 years, and my first year at college, it was like freedom. I was like, oh, I don't have to live in my parents' house, and I can just smoke weed all day. But then, the weed stopped being as fun, and it took me more weed to get as high as I wanted to be. That's kind of just how the drugs tend to work. And so I was just doing it, and for 2.5 years, coming around the last year of my time smoking weed, I was just miserable. I was smoking weed just to feel normal again. And I just remember feeling so miserable in the last few months. My last semester of college, I was just barely getting by. And so I could just see, it was just so apparent to me, all the negative side effects that were coming from this. And I knew what had to be done. I didn't think I could do it on my own, but I knew what had to be done. I had to get off the drugs. And so I came home and I reached out for some help, and someone took my hand and came and helped me, and that was Aspire. Like I said, I wasn't super comfortable at first, but then it got to the point, kind of just the way the program works, where we get into the group, and then the counselors, they talk to each one of us individually. They ask us each personal questions, because the counselors kind of keep tabs on what everyone's situation is. And so we just all kind of get to know each other. And I remember it changing about month 3 or 4 when I was here, when I realized that everyone in this room is a friend to me. Everyone in this room I'm comfortable around. I feel like I can joke around with them and also be vulnerable and talk about our problems that we're dealing with. And so I remember just having that huge shift where I was like, oh man, this is a safe place for me to go and connect with people who are also struggling in a similar way that I am. And so it didn't take too long for me to open up. But when I first got here, I was quiet, I was introverted. They tell me all the time I was just hiding in the corner. But then it was like something lit a match under me, and all of a sudden I was the loudest one in the room. I was cracking jokes. I was introducing myself to everyone who came in. And, that's when I really noticed the positive changes start to happen in my life. Yeah, something I've definitely learned and started to integrate more is the fact that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to be struggling. We all got problems that we're struggling with, and we all have things that we could definitely benefit from talking to some other people. And so I kind of learned that it's okay to be struggling through things and go and talk to someone about it. Nowadays, anytime that either I'm struggling with addiction, I get a triggering moment, or I'm just depressed or down, I call up one of my friends, and most of them are friends that I've met here at Aspire, and I just talk to them. I'm like, hey, this is kind of what's going on. I'm not feeling great. Hey, I was just in this social gathering, and someone reminded me of the times when I used to smoke weed. I was like, oh, it's kind of an uncomfortable feeling. Let me call up one of my sober friends, and I just talk through it, and that makes all the difference. So I mean, there's countless things that I've learned here at Aspire that I could talk about. I've learned that I have to continue to push myself, and I need to focus on my spiritual growth. I need to focus on being more selfless, because I've found that when I'm not so focused on my own problems, and I tend to start caring about other people, I seem to be doing better, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. This place, it gives me an opportunity to meet a lot of people who are new to sobriety, people who are in the thick of their addiction and their problems. And I get the opportunity to talk to them and kind of walk them through my story. I hope that I can give them some advice. And just doing that, getting outside of myself and helping others, that's been a huge thing for my own recovery. And as well, just getting to meet people who are going through the same thing that I'm going through, that's been huge for me, because if you talk to anybody, there's a good chance they know someone who's been dealing with addiction, and a lot of times they like to keep it private. They don't really talk about it too much, but the more you talk about it, the more normalized it becomes, and the more we can help the community and help people actually realize that they're not alone in this, and that the help is out there if they're ready to ask for it.